Hi all. My final project is option number 3, and that is the continuation of statistics for mere mortals. I can report that I enjoy completing and learning all the different tests in all the concepts that were covered during the class. The second part, which was the research part, and I know this is a research class, but I've never done research before, so it's my first time. It was a little bit more difficult to find the articles that I found interesting or that matched the criteria I was looking for. But in the end, I was able to, and going through the summary and in learning how the statistics were used actually help with learning of the concepts and the reasons why one test is used versus the other one. So my 4 articles all revolve about elements that may have an impact on learning outcomes. So the first one that I chose was academic motivation. The second one article had to do with classroom environments. The third one about the use of instructional design. And the third one, which is a very long title, Effectiveness of Technology Integrated Project-Based Approach for Self-Regulated Learning of Engineering Students. That's about the methodology. So academic motivation, the environment, the use of instructional design, and the methodology. So those 4 articles I chose. So let me tell you about each one of them. Academic motivation. So this study was trying to determine a relationship between adolescents, and they actually divided the groups into males and females adolescents that may benefit from participating in sports. So if you participate in sports, how does that increase your academic motivation? So they actually had males and females, and then they divided the groups into 3 different ranges of ages, and they used t-tests to determine the relationship. So they find out that males actually benefit from being part of a sport. It increases the academic motivation of males. Why? I don't know why. But they also prove that other studies in the past have shown that females have a higher academic motivation than males. So that was sort of like a baseline that they used to compare to their new study, where they show that males that are part of a sport actually have higher motivation. So that was article number 1. Article number 2 was classroom environment. So flexible classroom environments and non-flexible classroom environments. And this article was interesting because I have never read an article that didn't find a relationship. So there was no relationship between having a flexible classroom environment versus non-flexible classroom environment. They did find that it has an impact on motivation and enthusiasm. So it doesn't have a relationship on the learning outcome. People are not going to learn easier, faster, better if they have a different environment, but the motivation and enthusiasm does change. So that's something to keep in mind for us instructional designers. The third article was about the use of instructional design in education technology for effective teaching and learning. Let me read that again. It's the use of instructional design in education technology for effective teaching and learning. So when I started reading this article, I actually had a hard time with the terminology. My brain wasn't helping. So instructional design versus education technology. And I'm sure you're saying, duh, instructional design, that's what we do. Yeah, I know. So it covers the structure, right? Like how do we create educational experiences to make learning more efficient, effective, engaging. I know that part. And then the education technology is the part that's about the means, so the tools, right? So it focuses on the application of technology that facilitates and improves the teaching and learning experience. So this study had, if I remember right, it had 2 groups, but each group was tested pre-test, post-test, and then retention test. So they use ANOVA tests for this. And they did find out that there was a significant improvement in the interest and motivation and retention of information when instructional technology was introduced. And the way they introduced the technology was with movies, visual aids, and interactive tools that help the students engage in problem solving and critical thinking. So that was my third article. And my last article was done, this is the title, Effectiveness of Technology Integrated Project-Based Approach for Self-Regulated Learning of Engineering Students. I think it's the second time I read this, but that's it. So I'm gonna dissect it. So this is about the methodology. What is the approach? And the researchers tried to introduce an application called Relapse. So they were trying to compare two different pedagogical approaches, like traditional one that used Google Docs. So there was going to be a lecture and the use of Google Docs, and then Relapse. When I read the article, it makes me think a little bit about the ELC and how we can have interaction with the students and the teachers, and we can ask for help. So the conclusion of the study was that the study supported the hypothesis that the technology integrated project-based learning can enhance and engage help with the engagement of the students, and that this was another part of the study, that it helps develop self-regulating learning skills. So this was also done with ANOVA test and with a t-test, and that's it. Thank you all for